Doing a school project with a partner can be pretty simple, but what happens when you add a third, a fourth, a 10th person to the group? Without structure and organization, things could get complicated. In the last section, you learned why bands of people once roamed the land, and what made them finally settle down. In this section, you'll learn how early civilizations handled the need to organize their growing populations, and we'll look at one of the first civilizations, Mesopotamia. Over thousands of years, some of the early farming villages developed into civilizations. Civilizations are complex societies. They have cities with different social groups and organized governments. Civilizations have art, religion, and a writing system. These are some of the common features of civilizations. We'll spend a lot of time this year looking at what exactly makes up a civilization. For now, read the common features and try to find them as we go through this lesson. The first civilizations arose in river valleys. River valleys are flat land next to rivers. Near rivers, farming conditions were good. Rivers helped people travel and made trade easier. As cities grew, they needed organization. People formed governments, leaders took charge of food supplies, planned building projects, made laws, and formed armies. People did not worry so much about meeting basic needs like food or clothing. They started to develop religion and the arts. They invented some ways of writing and created calendars. So by allowing farming, river valleys allowed people to get into art, religion, and things like writing. The earliest known civilization arose in the Middle East on a flat plain between the Tigris and the Euphrates River. It was called Mesopotamia, which is Greek for the land between the rivers. Mesopotamia's climate was hot and dry. The rivers often flooded and left behind rich soil. However, flooding was unpredictable. It might flood once a year, but not the next year. Over time, farmers built dams and channels to control floods. They also built walls, waterways, and ditches to bring water to their fields. This way of watering crops is called irrigation. By 3000 BC, many cities had formed in southern Mesopotamia in a region called Sumer. They often used irrigation to bring water from the Tigris and the Euphrates into their crops and in to feed and water their domesticated animals. Geographic features isolated Sumerian cities. That means they basically had no contact with each other. Mudflats and desert made travel and communication difficult. Basically, they couldn't get in touch with each other even if they wanted to. Each Sumerian city, like Babylon or Nineveh, became a separate city-state. Each city-state had its own government and did not belong to a larger unit. So even though there were areas that were known as Sumer and Babylonia and Assyria, each city-state fended for itself. Sumerian city-states often fought with each other. They went to war for glory and for more territory. To ward off enemies, each city-state built a wall. First, they mixed river mud with crushed reeds. Then they molded bricks and left them to dry in the sun. The hard waterproof bricks were used for walls, homes, temples, and other buildings. So these advanced buildings and cities, these are one of the examples of civilization. We're going to spend some more time in our next lesson getting into the religion and the government of the Mesopotamian society.